What's going on YouTube, man? It's your boy 12 Gauge 365, man, and I'm back at y'all with another video. Hey man, it's almost that time again, man. It's almost that time again, man. You know, it's Auburn football this weekend. We do got Oklahoma on the schedule, and yeah, man, just got a little quick few bullet points to talk about for real, cause like I said last week, man, it could be our first loss of the season, man. There's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of stuff to unpack when you break down you know, the elements of this game, man. First off, I mean, I do want to talk about the QB play, the similarities and the differences between Jackson Arnold and John Mateer. But I really think it's going to be another situation where Auburn's defense is probably going to have to pull out some stops again, man. Just the defense might win the game again. I know that Auburn has a better run game, and, you know, obviously we got the best, you know, wide receiver core, I feel like, in the SEC right now. But that's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's just still yet to be proven. But I think right now Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, I think those two are just like the best 1-2 punch right now in the wide receiver room. So the thing is like we're just gonna really have to exploit those matchups. And I think Oklahoma is 3-0, but I also think that they haven't really had teams to exploit those matchups for them. I mean, obviously they dominated Temple 42-3. But the thing is you know, the story behind last year with Oklahoma not having a good offensive line for Jackson Arnold, I mean that could may very well still be the case this year. I mean, we saw Temple get to the backfield and apply a lot of pressure to John Mateer. It's just the thing with John Mateer, it's just like he's kind of like Jackson Arnold, to where he can kind of stretch the field, and when those plays break down, he can kind of make something happen out of nothing. So I can see him doing that a lot to Auburn. I think those quarterbacks have a lot of similarities in that regard. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't want to say I'm worried about this game, but like I said, man, this is definitely both. I think for both teams, these are the first real test of the season. Like I said, Oklahoma hasn't really had anybody to push those matchups and be able to exploit those matchups. I mean, they did beat Michigan, but Michigan just didn't really have the receivers to make them pay for those matchups for real. So I think that's not going to be the case with Auburn. Kind of probably the best 1-2 punch in the nation with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton. But I also feel like Horatio Fields, I feel like he's been making a lot of plays too. You see him come in and get a lot of those catches, some of those clutch catches that can kind of open up the run a little bit too, especially when you know, if he can't get the ball to Singleton or Coleman. So I think Fields is another one that's kind of, I mean, he's kind of an underrated playmaker too. I just feel like with the weapons, I feel like Jackson Arnold should have the edge in this one. I feel like as far as who's the better player, I feel like John Mateer might have a bit of an edge. I will do a QB breakdown here in a couple of minutes. But I do feel like Jackson Arnold should get the win, just based off weapons alone. Like I said, both teams, like, this is going to be their first big test of the season. You know, it would just have to, you know, there's much to be expected. There's much to be, you know, discovered in this game. I mean, Auburn, I mean, I feel like they played well last week, but I really don't feel like they played as well as they could have with South Alabama. I mean, we saw them get over 300 yards and I think 19 and 20 first downs. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I mean, in SEC play, brother, that's going to get you beat week in and week out. So I don't know, man. I just, you know, who knows? I mean, maybe it was just the level of competition or whatnot, but I feel like Auburn fans, like, we always have a reason to be hopeful, and always a reason to kind of, you know, be a little nervous about what's to come, because, I mean, Oklahoma, this is just the first of many tests that we're going to have this season. I mean, you know, there's going to be a lot of energy and a lot of you know, emotion behind this game, and that's one thing I don't want Jackson Arnold to do, is to kind of try to get into, you know, the emotions behind the thing. I mean, obviously, yes, this is your former team that you probably felt like gave up on you, and they probably feel like you gave up on them. So, you know, it might be a lot of, you know, static coming from their side, but I feel like if Jackson Arnold kind of just, you know, keeps to himself and plays, you know, the way he knows how to play, I feel like this could be another win for Auburn. But, like I said, I mean, between the offensive line struggles that I've been seeing this year out of both teams and, the secondary kind of, being lackluster, I feel like John Mateer can really turn it up on us if we are not careful. It's one of those things we'll have to see. But I do want to give a quick little QB breakdown about how I feel about both QBs. Obviously, I feel like both teams maybe have found a step up in quarterback play. I mean, Jackson Arnold did play there last year, and I feel like John Mateer might have been a little bit step up for the Oklahoma's offense than Jackson Arnold was. And obviously, Jackson Arnold is a big step up from the quarterback we've been having the past couple of seasons. So, that's we have no complaints in that regard. But just kind of getting to the breakdown of what these quarterbacks can bring to the table. Starting off with John Mateer. Starting off with Jackson Arnold, I want to say I'm an Auburn fan, so we're gonna start off with Auburn first. Let's see. So for Jackson Arnold, we got 501 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns. Haven't had no turnovers, no interceptions this season so far. He did cause a couple of fumbles. He did have a couple of fumbles, but we did recover those. So still no turnovers for Jackson Arnold in this in this season so far. Hopefully he can keep that up. We'll have to see. I mean, in the SEC, like you're not gonna not turn the ball over on some of these teams. But so far Jackson Arnold has been playing lights out, and we haven't seen no turnovers from him yet. 192 yards rushing, 5.5 yards per carry, and an extra 4 touchdowns on the ground. I just that's what Jackson Arnold is. I do feel like he has a slight edge in using his legs, but I want to say I do think John Mateer might edge him out, man. He might be a bit better of a quarterback than Jackson Arnold is. It's just one of those things when you break down and you have to look at it, and man, you kind of see what I'm talking about. John Mateer, he's got 944 yards passing, so he's creeping up on 1,000 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. He does have 3 interceptions. Like I said, he has turned the ball over every week, but it's kind of one of those things to where he can still make those. He can still make those plays, and he can also run. He's got 161 rushing yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and he also has 4 rushing touchdowns this year. So there's a lot of similarities. On paper it looks split even, but I still think Jackson Arnold might have a little bit slight edge in the rushing department, just because that's pretty much all we've seen from him this year. I mean, he has thrown the ball, but John Mateer has proven that he's he can't stand there and sling the football if he wants to. The thing I really want to stress, the most important stat when looking at John Mateer, that he is over 50%. He is over 50% in completion under pressure. So, like I said, it's one of those things to where, you know what I'm saying, if the Auburn defensive line applies that pressure and, he starts using his legs, he's shown that he can make those plays. And, that's going to be one of those things where it's going to be up to the secondary to see if they can pick up the slack, because I really feel like with the way Baylor's quarterback did us, having over 400 yards passing and I think 3 or 4 touchdowns through the air, it's just one of those things. I mean, John Mateer might turn it up even worse than what he did on us. So that's one of those things to where it's kind of a bit of cause of concern just off of that fact, because I do think it's one of those situations to where the score can get ran up pretty quickly, and we might have another high scoring game, and it might be one of those kind of slow, boring, grind them out games. It's one of those. I can't really call it. And we'll just have to see what the outcome is. I do think with the weapons that Jackson Arnold has, I mean, as long as he doesn't try to let the emotions behind the story of the game, as long as he doesn't let that get to him and he plays within the Auburn offense and doesn't try to do too much with his arms. I mean, look, you have your weapons, trust your weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust the other guys on the field and just play within the offense. I mean, everybody knows you're a running quarterback. You're going to look for the run. So, you go through your progressions as quick as you can, or quick as you've been processing, and then just tuck the ball and run if you so have to do that. I feel like that's one of those things to where I think Hugh has also kind of fell under the guise of just straying away from what's working. You could be running the ball, running it perfect the whole time, and then you want to throw in some passing plays or some trick plays when it really just doesn't cause for it, and then that's how you get those unnecessary turnovers. And if they do this against Oklahoma, I don't think Oklahoma is going to let the game slip out of their hands if they get up. So I feel like this is a game where Auburn's really gonna have to. I feel like Baylor was the game where they had to set the tone. I feel like this is another game where they're gonna have to set the tone for how they're gonna play for the rest of the season. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be one of the more exciting games that's going to be played Saturday. So I can't wait. I'm going to try to get through work as quick as I can so I can get off and, try to see what's going on with the Auburn games, man. So, yeah, man, I'm very excited for it. Again, I'm still nervous for the season. I don't think it's cause of concern yet. I do have Auburn edging them out in this game. I want to say maybe either 37 or 34 or 38-31 Auburn. I do think it's going to be one of those. I do think it's going to be a kind of a high-scoring game. So, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. All we can do is hope for the best as Auburn fans. That's what we do every year. So, yeah, man. It's time will tell how this game is going to turn out, man. And of course, y'all know we're gonna get a commentary after the game. I've been trying to be a little bit better about posting a little bit earlier in the week, and doing a little bit better about posting right afterwards. So, I'm gonna try to do a little bit better on that regard. It's just like I said, man, with the kids, me being a new father for the second time, time is kind of valuable. So, I kind of got to use my time management the best I can. So, but like I said, man, we're going to try to push these videos out a little bit earlier in the week so we can get a lot more time to process it. And, yeah, man, we're gonna keep this thing going. I am gonna get back on the gun content. I'm gonna be posting a little bit more Call of Duty clips, and of course, I'm gonna do some more MMA picks and boxing picks whenever those come up. But I am gonna get back on a little bit more gun content. Yeah, that's gonna be coming soon. So pay attention to the shorts and stuff, man. And smash that like button and hit that subscribe button if y'all want to keep them coming. I'm gonna try to get these things cranked out every week. And yeah, man, kind of the plan as soon as football season's over with, I'm gonna try to get a little bit back heavy on the video game content. So y'all will be seeing a lot more videos from me soon. But yeah, pay attention to those shorts and the clips, and yeah, just smash that notification button, man. I'll let y'all soon, man. 12 gauge out.